Hey guys, welcome to Boone County Cryptids, where we chase the country's most chilling cryptid legends, one eerie encounter story at a time. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Boone County Cryptids. Thank you for being here and thank you for watching. If you guys have had an encounter of your own and would like to come on the show, you can email us at boonecountycryptids@gmail.com. Guys, my guest tonight's really awesome. His name is Ashes Antics. He has his own, well, he actually has two channels. He has his gaming channel, his streaming channel called Ashes Antics. And then he has another channel called the Boom Boom Room, where he interviews people about cryptids and, legends and folklore. He's a really good dude. All right, guys, let's welcome Mr. Ashes Antics to the studio.
Hey, what?
Hey, Ashes, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
So, you have a good day today?
Yeah, had a pretty good day, man. It's Sunday. It's lazy for me. I just kind of, take it easy. That's the time of recording we are. And I try to just kind of just take it slow, the whole week's kind of quick, with two channels. And, it keeps me real busy. Live streaming every day, and then working on the Boom Boom Room, where we've been doing a series. Every Saturday we start in alphabetical order and telling folklore stories and scary stories from each state, and I'm really enjoying that. I got a co-host. He's a good friend of mine from California, Ted, and I like having him because he's got a different perspective on things, from being over there, and that's really it makes for a good good show when you have two different kind of views on things. So I think he's a little bit skeptical is what I'm saying about, but I think he's really getting more into it, the evidence he sees. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that, Wyatt, and like I said, I'm happy to be on here, man. I've been wanting to do this for a while.
I'm glad we were able to get together and get it done. So what can you tell us a little bit about your Ashes Antics channel, your streaming channel?
Yeah, I started that about 3 years ago. Been monetized for 2 years, and I just live stream games and mostly zombie games. I'm into zombies, so play a lot of 7 Days to Die, DayZ, and other games too, but mostly I live stream and shorts, and I drop shorts of my little dog, BB. That's kind of my mascot. It was modeled after him, but people like his shorts. But yeah, that's my main channel, and then I started the Boom Boom Room about a year ago. Actually, it started as some friends from Australia, New Zealand, and Sweden. We were just going to have a platform where we get on there and just talk about whatever, just topics. And but them guys just got busy with their lives, So I just started interviewing different people. I've had Daniel Hamilton, from the Cryptid Podcast on there. Different content creators from gaming, to podcasts. I've had a guy on there that I've become friends with named Anthony from the Hair Metal Guru. He's got a channel that he talks about hair metal. He's real popular on YouTube. He become a good friend of mine. But then I started the series, like folklore, telling it, each Saturday. We have a premiere around 5:15 Central Time. And yeah, the name's kind of weird because when you type it in the Boom Boom Room, it's kind of hard to find. So that's why if you go to find it on YouTube, just put at the Boom Boom Room 777. It should pop up, But yeah, I'm enjoying it. 2 channels keeps me busy. But the reason why I got another reason too, it's been about maybe a year or a little over a year. I started getting into the cryptid, on YouTube. I think I found Sasquatch Chronicles first, Sasquatch Theory. I think that's what Miguel. Then I just started, domino started falling. I found Josh's channel, Mysteries Unknown, and then Daniel's Cryptid. And then I said, man, what happened to me in the past? I think that was Bigfoot, the encounter I had. And I started deep diving in it, and I've just been lost in it ever since. It's really interesting, And what I like about it, people's got different takes on it, Is it flesh and blood and stuff? And I think overall in the community too, everybody gets along. It's not a toxic community. You have your trolls here and there, but most of all, it's people get along. So
yeah. There's a few bad apples in every batch, but for the most part, everybody that I've met so far has been really good people.
Yes, they have.
And Josh and Daniel, they've really.
Man.
Those are two of my favorite channels, of course. They're just really down to earth people, and I really enjoyed going on their shows. They've made me feel comfortable, and just good people is all I really can say about it. Now, I'm going to plug something real quick.
No problem.
Guys, Daniel from the Cryptid Podcast, he created a GoFundMe for Joshua Smith's wife, Stacy. She suffers from what they call mold toxicity. If you guys want to find it, you can go to the Cryptid Podcast Facebook channel. It's listed on there somewhere. And if you can go, maybe consider giving to that, or if you can't do that, go to Josh's channel, Joshua Smith's channel, Mysteries Unknown, and just watch his videos, like, share, and subscribe. And then, the urge hits you, maybe become a member as well. And that would really help them out, because they've had to move like 12 times in the past year. And, when you got to pick up roots every year several times, that's really stressing. It can be very stressing. So if you guys would consider checking that out. And so Ashes, you're not only a YouTuber and stuff like that, you've kind of had what you believe could have been a cryptid experience yourself. You want to kind of go into that?
Yeah. I think that in the past, I grew up, I'm in Arkansas right now, and Western Arkansas, which is a lot of But see, here's the deal about that. I grew up in Oklahoma, Boomer Center, but I lived basically on the line, Arkansas and Oklahoma. So I was born in Arkansas, grew up in Oklahoma. So I don't know what to say. I love both states, but I grew up in Eastern Oklahoma. A lot of people know it's a hotbed. I grew up in LaFleur County, and I used to go hunting in southeast Oklahoma. And but I'll tell you the main encounter that I've had, it was 2011, and I grew up out in the country, and what it was is my grandfather back in the 70s, they all bought a bunch of land and like lots, and they put mobile homes on it, and it was like a back dirt road, but everybody owned their own land, little lots, and where you had the mobile home. But we owned a little bit, probably about 2 acres of woods that went back in some woods. But the woods, if you follow it, could take you for, hundreds of miles. It'd go to the Arkansas River and everything. But at the time I was married, and we had a new mobile home, and I was on the porch about 2:30 in the morning. I was smoking, smoking a cigarette. So and this is like a dirt road, and the dirt road kind of made a boomerang, to a side road and to the main highway. I was sitting there smoking a cigarette about 2:30 in the morning, and I remember that the moon was full. You know, you could see. You know how the moon is. You could see real good. And I started to hear something crashing through the woods. Well, you know how your mind goes. It's just instantly, I think, oh, somebody's on one of those mules, those side by sides or ATV. But then I didn't hear no motor. It was just like somebody just crashing through there like a freaking buffalo or elephant coming through the woods. So I looked, and I say it's about 50 yards, maybe 60 yards from my porch. And I'm just sitting there staring. And I started seeing the trees moving while I was hearing this sound, like it was crashing through there. And I tell you how it reminded me of like Jurassic Park, when you start seeing the movement of the trees parting. And I'm looking,
Right.
I'm saying, and I'm still waiting for a vehicle to, make a sound. And I said, man, how could a car be in there? I mean, that's how big to me it seemed, like a freaking Volkswagen bug or something. So I'm sitting there looking, still smoking, and finally, I say this went on for about 5 seconds, all this, and then it got to the edge, and when it got to the edge, I'm looking and stopped. I said, man, what is that? Really, to be honest with you, I thought it was ATV coming through there, like I said, a little mule, or because my mind all just started, going through, what is it? It's got to be ATV. It's got to be a side by side. It's got to be one of those mules. Then when it stopped, all I can describe it is Wyatt, a guttural roar that probably went on, I'd say, at least 2 seconds, 3 maybe. And only thing I could compare it to was like a lion and a bear, but to be that far, it rattled my whole insides, man. I remember feeling it in my heart, my guts. I don't know if it threw off infrasound or what from that far away, but all I remember is being frozen stiff, Don't know how long I was standing there after it ended. And I remember I was so scared because I've been scared before, and I don't get scared a lot, After done that, my mind kind of went to it was something, I don't want to, throw the D word around, but I thought it was something really evil.
Right.
I did. I thought because I've had experiences with that. I grew up, a Christian, and my journey as a Christian, I'm stronger now than ever was, but during that time I wasn't. So maybe, I thought that maybe that was. So I opened up the door to the trailer, and I went in, and I don't know what happened after that. My mind's just foggy. I do not know what happened. I think I grabbed my Bible and started praying. I really don't know why. I'll just be honest with you, I can't remember.
So you kind of had like a lost time incident too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. And, I try to rationalize it. After that, I mean, that time in my life, I was going through a lot of stuff, emotionally. And another thing to add was sober. I was sober. So
Yeah.
I wasn't drinking or doing anything that I wasn't supposed to. And I just rationalized it as a boogeyman experience, just something evil. It never, excuse me, it never occurred to me it might be Bigfoot, at all. It never occurred to me that, or it could be something cryptic or something. But I can't even remember it at the time. My wife at the time, if I even told her. And I can't, like I said, it was like I just put it out of my mind. And I've had little incidents, through the years, and little things happened to me supernatural before, but that was probably the most scared I've ever been in my life. I remember being scared and scared stiff because I remember when I was scared and couldn't move, it was like, now I know what people mean when they're scared stiff.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was just a saying, somebody, it was just but that's what happened, man, on that incident. Yeah, that's what happened.
Man, I'll tell you what. Do you care if I give you my opinion on it?
Yeah, I want to hear it. Yes, definitely.
I'm about 99% sure you had a Bigfoot encounter.
Yeah,
I mean, because I've watched a lot of videos and
yeah,
read a bunch of stuff, and the crashing through the woods, uh, that's been reported a lot, and the guttural growl or the roar, as you put it,
yeah,
that's
Lord.
been reported a lot, and the getting right to the tree line and then stopping where you can't see it,
Yeah,
that's been reported a lot. So I mean,
yeah,
I'm putting if the shoe fits, it's time. I think it's time to wear it because I think that's what it was, bud.
yeah. I believe now I do. Since deep diving and seeing, especially about the your insides being rattled from that
Oh
far
yeah,
away. Ain't nothing on this earth. I mean, if it was a lion, ain't no lion gonna be out there. There wouldn't no news of lion. Bears are rare where we live. If it is, it's a small black bear,
right.
right there. So, and then plus, excuse me, 3 miles from there is out in the country is the Spiral Mountains. If it's the Cato Native American burial site, it's 2,000 years old. And I grew up there my whole life. A lot of the old timers would tell me that they're Bigfoot's around there. I wouldn't call them crazy or nothing because I wasn't like that because I believe in supernatural even before all that. But I
Right.
would just I just thought Bigfoot was some kind of primate they haven't found yet, and that was it. But they would tell me that, yeah, I've seen them down there at sloughs or heard it, and it was stinking, It was, a lot of them say, but I didn't smell anything or nothing. Um, but yeah, it's reported, man, all in that LaFleur County. I've heard a lot of reports, but especially then I got thinking, deep diving. There's the Arkansas River real close. That's running through there. And that road, uh, that dirt road we live on, when you go to a little side road, it's kind of a little highway. It dead ends down there at a dam at the Arkansas River, and that's where the Spiral Mounds is. And a lot of mysterious things happened when they found that mounds. Native American, they took all the artifacts. Not trying to get on a rabbit trail, but they took all the artifacts out of there and took them to Oklahoma City. And then so many of the people that was working on that project died mysteriously. So, and then I had the old man would tell me that those lands just cursed around here, He'd tell me, I don't know about that, but that's what he'd tell me. There's a lot that goes on down there, son, with those Native American burial grounds and stuff. It's there's a lot of curses going on. But besides that, I've thought about things since that happened. And there's been a few instances that I think that there could have been other encounters, you know.
Right.
Um, I was on I know you remember those old three wheelers. I was on one. I
Oh
was
yeah.
about 14. My buddy was on the back. We just driving the back roads, not far from there. And he started screaming. He said, "Look over there at the light pole. You see that? That look how tall it is. It's all in black." And I looked back. I didn't see it. He was scared to death. He started hitting me in the back of the head. Go, man, go. That might have been, incident there. But your mind gets reeling and thinking about things. And like I said, I don't want to go on a rabbit trail, but I was telling you, my family friend, she's 65, that lived down there her whole life, but she moved to the city now where I live, and I'll go visit her. I don't know if you want me to go into that or not, or tell you
You're
what happened to her.
more than
And
welcome More than welcome to talk about it if you want to, buddy.
All right. Because I recently found out about it. And when I see her, we don't talk about cryptics, we'll talk about how her people's doing, her kin, my kin.
Is she okay with you sharing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I asked her about it. And she's a real good family friend. And I go there and then she don't like driving. I'll take her to the store and, take her to go get her snuff, and stuff like that. And I don't even know how we got on the subject. It's been a couple of weeks ago. I think I started talking about my channel or something. And she told me what happened. I'll fix it and tell it. But I asked her, I said, you don't mind if I tell you a story, No, I don't mind. She don't care about it. Let me get a drink here. But anyway, first thing she told me that when she was 14, probably 2 miles from where my encounter happened, she lived probably quarter of a mile from the Native American burial grounds, And what it is it dead ends to the Spiral Mounds. It's called Fort Coffee, Oklahoma. And they've got a Native American graveyard there. I've had strange happenings called Scullyville, but there's mostly it's a black community back there, and that's where she lived. And I grew up around them all my life, all that community, which I lived out in the country, not really in Fort Coffee or Spiro, where the Spiral Mounds is at. I live close to the Spiral Mounds. It's just a small town, Spiro. And of course, you probably heard about the Hebner Runestones. It's not too far. I've been there.
I've been to the Hebner Runestone.
Yeah. But anyway, she said she was 14. And I think she was out late, like 2 or 3 in the morning, her and her friend, her girlfriend, her friend. And they was trying to get back home. They shouldn't have been out. And she said she looked over, and these are all bottomlands, by the river, old bean fields and stuff like that, old poke salad fields they'd have. And she said, I look behind me, I hear something. She said, this is a dog, looked like a wolf. And she said, man, this is the biggest wolf I've ever seen in my life, she said. I've never seen one. I said, what do you mean? When it's just some big dog, like a mastiff or not? She said, no, son. This was a big dog. And it looked at us and started growling and started coming towards us. And we took off. And she said she kept running and running. I said, do you remember what did it? What happened? Of course, you're here now. It didn't hurt you. She said, we didn't even look back till we got home. But she described it just basically like a dog, man, but it did get up on 2 legs, She didn't add that. Okay, then she told me this. This was strange, which I believe her. She's not going to lie about anything like this. Or I've never heard her tell a lie, Her brother's a pastor, and in the town I live in now, Fort Smith, got a pretty big church. I know him, know all her brothers. She's not going to lie about this. She said she was 9 years old. And an old house she lived in, her mom, I think she was doing something bad. Her mom said, go outside. You stay outside, And she said it was night. I don't know how. She said maybe 9 or 10 at night. And she's laying on one of them old butane tanks. The old butane tanks, the big ones they got, propane. Yeah. And she, all of a sudden, she looks over, and she said it was probably about, 30 or 40 feet. I know this is going to sound strange, but this is what she told me. She said it was a scarecrow, 3 scarecrow figures, like people, but scarecrows. One was, she could tell that one was like the man, one was like the woman, and the other one was real small like the kid. And I said, what? She said she said they had big red eyes, glowing red and yellow eyes. She remembers that. And she said they remember it just being a scarecrow. You know, it was a long time ago. That's the best she could tell me, that they would scare three square scarecrows, and they were coming towards us. So what did you do? She said, I ran there and I didn't look back. I started beating on the door, you know, screaming, Mama, Mama, let me in. And she said she went in and told her mom. They didn't believe her, you know, of course. She said, I never did see it again. She told me that. And then she told me that in her house that there was her great grandmother would see her all the time, you know, dressed in old garb, I guess back from the late 1800s, would see her, you know, scare her to death and stuff like that. But my point of that is, you know, a lot of stuff would happen to her, and she never told me till lately. You know, I've known her probably personally for 25 years, been around her. And she's one of those older people that you could sit and talk to. We sit and talk, laugh, talk about, you know, everything. She's really a good friend. And but anyway, my whole point of that is right in that area, a lot of supernatural things has happened. You know, I've heard a lot of things. I've even not even not far from there. I don't. You want me to tell you the story? What happened to a cousin? It's brief. I know I'm getting off topic a little bit, but
as long as it don't involve the D word, I don't.
Yeah, it's nothing to do. Yeah, nothing to do with that. There's a little bridge, Poto River, you know, and it goes into the Arkansas River, not far from there. And what happened was this incident happened, I'm trying to think, probably around 2005. But a couple years before that, somebody had a wreck and the water was up, and they were in the vehicle and they passed away down in the ditch. It was a lady, and he didn't find her for 3 days, you know, because he didn't see the vehicle in the water. But he said that he was going to Fort Smith, you know, it's a bigger town from where we live. He said, I was going over the little bridge, and I think somebody was in the hospital or something. My kid had a baby and he was going over there by himself. I don't know if it was his wife or something. But he said when he got on the bridge, he looked over and there's a woman sitting in his seat. Just sitting in his seat, looking straight ahead. He told me he started screaming, you know, what do you want? What do you want? She said, never did look at her. And as soon as he went over the bridge and, you know, as soon as he got off the bridge, bam, it was gone.
Really?
And he looked up the lady that died on the bridge, and that was her. He said that was exactly what she looked like. Yeah.
That gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. You know, I've had other things happen to me, you know, supernatural. I won't get into them because I don't know if it's the D word or ghost. You know, I don't know which one it is.
Right. That's why I won't talk about some of mine too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind really talking about it. It don't bother me and stuff because I know I'm covered in the blood of Jesus. You know what I mean? But I don't think that you should entertain them. So, you know, to that. But I know when I was younger, I was different because I've had things happen, and my mom would see things too. She was real, you know, strong Christian. And then I had an uncle that was a pastor, and it's like all three of us things that we would see or you know, supernatural things happen. But yeah, that area, man, is a hotbed. And I went hunting too. I think, but let me, before I get into that, well, down towards the river where I live, the Fort Coffee, you got a little hill, they call it Round Mountain. We'd go rabbit hunting, you know, when we was teenagers there. Well, and then if we ride around with some girls or stuff, we'd take them down there, turn the flashlights off and hide, you know, and just, you know, nag them. You know how you is when you're teenagers. But me, my middle brother, and one of my cousins, we another friend, we went up there at night and just walked up there because they call it Round Mountain because you got to walk a little path and then it goes up and it's flat. But it's actually a big, big hill. But when you get up there, you can see the river and the spiral mounds and all that. You know, it's kind of like bottom land when you get up there. Well, we go up there one night, and we were teenagers. This may have been probably 30 years ago, but we went up there and got up there, and there was like people would build fires. And I don't know if it was a rumor or not. You know, people say they do something up there, you know, a cult or whatever. You know, people burn. You don't know what happens, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're up there and we hear like coyotes, you know, or whatever, you know, huckling or whatever going on. Well, all of a sudden, we start hearing them real, real loud, and I said, "Man, these coyotes, they're gonna be a problem, boys, because I don't think we had any pew-pews with us, you know." I don't think at the time, because we were young, just messing around. And I remember them getting loud and loud and loud, and then they stopped. And then something started laughing, man. And I remember this was, I don't know what it is when I talk about things, I start remembering things too. I guess my old mind, I'm old. But I heard something, I'll never forget it start going. It started out like going, started laughing just like that on a movie. And I remember we looked at each other, and I said, "Man, that sounds like a human, but it did, you know, it sounded like it was amplified. It was like if they were human, it was huge." So I don't know what that was either. There was always strange stuff happened to us down there. And that was weird, though, you know, laugh because we thought it was one of us, and we looked over. What is that, man? And then I got thinking, is that, you know, now was that a cryptid? You know, was it Bigfoot?
Definitely sounds like it definitely could have been, you know, because it had
was guttural,
the deeper voice and you know, amplified, like you said.
Yeah, it did sound human, but it didn't sound human, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, I've had a lot of strange encounters. You know, there's other things, like I said, I'll get into them, you know. I've been in last house I was into with my ex-girlfriend. It was haunted. I know that for sure. Had a lot of stuff go in there, but, you know, I just prayed and, you know, everything was fine. But I was recording one night on the phone. I don't even know what we was doing, messing around, me and her and her nephews. And when I was recording, I went back to watch it because I know some strange stuff was happening. There was like orbs. You know, I thought it was dust at first.
Yeah.
But it wasn't dust, man. It was orbs. And then somehow he got erased, that video. Like in the next 10 minutes, I don't know how it erased, but it erased. But yeah, I think the supernatural is an interesting subject. And I'm like you, I try to stay away from certain things about it. Right. But I would love to know, you know, what Bigfoot is. And I don't think nobody really does. It fascinates me, man, that subject. It really does. And you know what the most fascinating thing about it is? 99% of the people that you tell their encounters, they're regular people, you know? Oh, yeah. I mean, you know how Southern people got that certain people think we're just ignorant hillbillies, you know, and stuff like that. But there is the people are having encounters are just people next door, you know, police officers, preachers. I mean, just it's amazing, you know. Because a long time ago, I thought it was just some person living in the woods by herself seeing Bigfoot. But then when you go deep diving on YouTube, you realize it's just all walks of life, people seeing Bigfoot and cryptids.
Oh, yeah. Doctors, lawyers.
Yeah.
Like you said, police officers, armed forces members. All sorts of people.
And how can you, I listened to a pastor from California. I won't say his name, but he was saying he went to the redwoods out there, and the guy was talking about Bigfoot, and I'm saying, oh man, he's going to say something bad, and he actually said, he said, we don't know if that's out there, you know what I mean? Because we didn't discover, silverback gorillas since whatever. So, I think more people are thinking that, yeah. But do you think? Let me ask you this: why do you think that encounters are more now these days, or we're just hearing about it more with social media? What's your opinion?
Well, that's a really hard question to answer, Ashes, because we don't
Uh-huh.
we don't really know how many encounters used to happen because not all of them are recorded.
Yeah,
And we didn't, like you said, we didn't have the social media like we do today with
yeah,
everybody coming out to talk about it. So I get there could be a rise in encounters, but I don't really know because we don't have the data. We don't have the data set to go off of like we did back,
yeah.
like we do
Yep, yep.
now today.
Well, let me ask you this: what is your opinion? What do you think they are?
I
I know
kind of
it's a
believe,
hard question.
yeah, that's a hard question too. And
Mhm.
I'll ask you the same thing here in a minute. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of going on what Josh says. They're flesh and blood when they are, and they're
Hmm.
not when they're not. Or you could even go as far as to say they're flesh and blood with they just have supernatural abilities.
Yeah.
One or the other. But I
Yeah.
think they are flesh and blood at least part of the time. What about you,
Yeah.
bud?
I kind of think the same thing. You hear people talk, but I think I'm going with Josh, mostly with Josh. I heard a guy was talking about maybe they're part of the Nephilim that's going to be the ones that, talk, in the Bible during tribulation. They might be the ones that to anticipate in what happens.
I've heard that
Um,
too.
so I'm kind of thinking that there's something. Well, there's something to do with. I really think there's something to do with the Nephilim. I really do.
Definitely could be.
I don't think that. No, and I think they're flesh and blood too. I think that they go through some kind of portals or something, man, because you can't hide that good. They got to go to somewhere. I mean, because the technology we got stuff and people, I think I think they can when they want to be seen, they be seen. It's their choice.
Right.
That's why did he want to be seen? I don't know. I don't know, but I believe they're very highly intelligent, and but I don't know. They could be just straight. Well, I mean, even if they are straight flesh and blood creatures, they've got supernatural powers, man.
Oh yeah.
They definitely do. I mean, getting in spider crawling, stuff like that, man. I don't know what I'd do if I ever see one spider crawl.
I've heard it's creepy from what I've heard, but
I
that
mean, yeah, and but I've seen a lot of pictures, and I say majority of them's fake, but I think some of them's real. But to be honest with you, man, Bigfoot to me is scary, creeps me out. But dogman, that right there is probably I could not imagine a Wyatt seeing that thing in the flesh. I mean, I don't know what I'd do, man.
I mean I mean I it's pretty creepy.
Have you seen one?
Well, let's put it this way. I seen the silhouette of one where I could
Yeah,
tell it had a snout and stuff.
yeah.
Uh, I, you care if I tell that encounter real
No,
quick?
go ahead. That'd be great.
Uh, well, anyway, me and my buddy, we're back in our regular cove. That's where we started out at, and we're back there looking for listening, look for Bigfoot sign, and we start hearing these owls. You know, uh, most of the time they say if the owls don't have a trill on the end of them, then they're not a real owl. It's usually uh, most people believe it could be a booger if
Yeah,
They don't have the trill at the end. I took a video of this and I went back and listened. You know, I can't hear the trill on the end of these owl calls now.
When you say trill, what is a trill?
It's kind of like the reverberation at the end of the owl call, like.
Gotcha.
I'm not very good at making an owl call, or I would try, but
that was pretty damn good.
But anyway, I took a video, listened to it. I couldn't hear it. So anyway, we didn't have much happen, and we're backing out to go around we're going to go back and check this other cove out that we've been to before. And we actually found a structure there, which we decided could have been man-made, or it could have been, I guess a Bigfoot could have made it possibly. I'll tell you about that at another time.
Okay.
But we went back in this cove where we had found a structure before. And this time we're going around through there. We start looking up on the side of the bank and into the tree line and stuff there. And we see like 4 or 5 sets of ice shine. Like 4 of them are like laying flat on the ground. And then one of them's kind of up beside a tree. And anyway, after this had happened, I got to thinking, and it kept bugging me, why were they laying flat on the ground?
Yeah.
And then I heard an episode of on Josh's show where somebody said they turned around and the dogman was laying flat on the ground. So then it kind of clicked to me. Maybe that's what it could have been doing. So there was ice shine on the ground, and then there was another one by the tree.
Yeah.
This one it wasn't laying flat on the ground. It was up pretty high in the tree, or beside the tree. And my buddy Richard, who I researched with, he said it kept darting in and out behind the tree. And he's shining his headlamp up there. And finally, when he hit it with the headlamp the right way, I was able to catch the silhouette of it. And it had a snout like a dog. And then I looked in its eyes. And when I looked in its eyes, and I always say this, I probably shouldn't have done that, but when I did that, I got a sense of evil.
Yeah.
When I did that.
Wow.
So, like I said, I'm not saying it's a dogman 100%, but whatever it was, there was an evil presence there. And that's usually highly attributed to a dogman sighting. So.
Yeah, I think the pure evil, man. That's my opinion. Excuse me. That's my opinion. And I believe, I went down the rabbit hole with them, Vic's channel and different ones, Dogmanencounters, and that's, I believe in them. And then, what happened on Daniel's channel with Swamp Dog, that was mind blowing.
It was.
That was wild. Well, I believe 100% that was a dog, man, especially in the frame that they took. And if you guys, if you ain't seen that one, you need to check that one out on Daniel's channel. But I don't even know what episode it is. But
I didn't get to watch the whole thing live, but I went back and rewatched it. And
me too.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, because I rewatched it, and then when somebody started, taking, pitch, whatever you call them, screenshots, and then later on in that, because it went on for 4 hours, that live, I watched the whole thing straight. But at first, when I watched it, I seen the red eyes, immediately. I said, man, what is that? Because I thought it was something that was on his dash, Swamp Dog's dash. And then I seen the 2 sets. And then when I seen that creature on the ground and possibly another one on the one frame, I think if I wouldn't have seen the eyes, and I'd have said that might have been some kind of other animal, on the ground. But it was like low, like it was crawling too, or something, or on all fours.
Right.
That was mind blowing, that live. I wish I'd have seen it live, but I was live streaming at the time. But I mean, there's a lot of evidence out there, man. I wouldn't want to see one. I know what I would do if I'd see one. I'd start rebuking it in the name of Jesus. I'd start praying. But I don't want to see one. I've even prayed to the Lord, don't let me see one, because I went out at night walking my dog. It's a pretty decent neighborhood here in town, and there's a couple dark corners, man, and then a few times that I felt something not to go down there, which the dog didn't alert nothing, and I knew better. I go by my gut. I'll turn around, go a different way. I don't know if it was anything at all. It might have been just freaking cotton, water moccasin, or it could have been something, a person over there. But yeah, you got to go by your gut feeling. But there's no way, dude, I'd want to see a dog, man. Only way you'd want to see one if it was locked in a cage or something. I like to see one. But as far as Sasquatch, Bigfoot, I wouldn't mind seeing another one, but I think if I was physically able, I just would have gotten older, I've got a lot of health problems. I definitely now would go out in the woods, I guess I could go out there. I couldn't go on no big monstrous hike, but I would love to go out there and just see how. I like to go with somebody, like you or any other researcher, to see what they do to, how it goes, what steps you do, and
Yeah.
I'd be really interested and look for signs, because I guarantee you, man, if I, like I said, I'm older, my mind's not as sharp as it was. It comes and goes thinking about incidents would happen when I was younger, because we used to live in the woods, man. I'd play in the woods. I would go down in the woods. I remember when I was first married in my early 20s, I'd just go down there, with my pew and just go sit down there for 2 hours, squirrel hunting or just looking. I used to love just sitting there, because and another, I'll tell you this right here. It's about everything I can remember. I went to Antlers, Oklahoma, and hunting. I told you this. So we was leasing from a guy from California, 20 of us, and it was in the middle of nowhere. And I think Antlers is supposed to be like the whitetail capital of the world. And I never got a deer that year, but I went there, and if you got to have good tires, man. It's like 15 miles off the road. The roads ain't even a road, It's got clear cut. I think it was about 7,000 acres. I remember one night we was there, and I heard the weirdest coyotes and cackling out there and things moving. But my mind wasn't on Bigfoot.
Right.
And I remember we would go, and there was so many of us, we would go. I'd go a mile or two from camp, and they just dropped me off at some clear cut, before, how you go hunting. And I'd have some weird feelings out there, but I'd always, when I'd be out in hunting their nature, man, peaceful. I think it's a good place, that you can, talk to God and pray. It's a lot of peace out there, but I know that you've got to keep your head on a swivel. But at the time, dude, that's a southeast Oklahoma, what it is. But I'm surprised none of us had any encounters. Now there's one guy, he passed away. I went to church where he was a bass player in the band at church, and he said he's in a tree stand, and he said he's seen something, early morning. I think he's seen a dog, man. He said it was the D word, something evil, but I believe he's seen dog, man. I really do. The way he described it, because of red eyes and everything, he just thought it was that, because I think he believed in Bigfoot, but I don't think he, actually even believed or talked about dogman, because before a year ago, I just thought it was a werewolf on a movie. That's all I thought it was. I didn't think something like that can exist. And then you go down the rabbit hole, and you talk to people that had encounters, with rakes and different creatures. And then I'm thinking about the stuff I've seen. Why wouldn't it be cryptids,
Right.
Because all the stuff I've seen and experienced, you tell some people they think you're nut, they want to lock you up in a nut house, But since I've gotten older, I don't care, what people think. I don't care, what people think about my faith. You know, being a Christian, I'm going to tell you know I'm a Christian, and if they don't like it, whatever. You know, I've got friends from all walks of life, man. I
I do
got
too.
I got friends that are Muslims, atheists, you know, and in being in gaming, I've got friends all over the world, India. You know, I got friends that are Hindu, but um, when we game and stuff, I don't try to talk about religion at all or politics because it's a bad situation. But my whole point of that, I go on rabbit trails. Uh, this community, the cryptid community, probably the nicest community. Got the best people in it. I really enjoy being in it, man. For the last year, I really do.
Oh yeah,
I've met nothing mostly, like I said, great people. They're not toxic, and because you know you get into the gaming community, I could tell you stories about that some other time. You know, I'll tell you this real quick. I don't want to get off topic.
you're good, buddy.
I had a friend from Alabama, and this is a warning to anybody. He had I think he had 400 some subscribers, and he was playing Daisy. I won't mention his name, and he when you go on his channel, he would have anywhere from 50 to 120 people on his live streams without getting rated. He mentioned one thing about politics. He got banned off a server and got nagged to death so bad that he had to shut his channel down over
Man,
something what he believed in. So that's YouTube, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. This community here mostly is probably the best community. That's the whole point of that little story, but it is.
I agree.
It's
It's a
really
great
good.
community.
And I've met a lot of friends like you know, Dan, countless people, you know, friends on Facebook, and it's good to come on these shows, you know, and talk. And it does when you talk about your encounters. And if anybody's had an encounter out there, I do highly recommend to come on Wyatt shows or some other shows to tell you encounter because it's kind of a release, because sometimes we hold it back thinking that we're crazy, it didn't happen, and then because a lot of family members, not all when you tell them they think you're crazy, or just so it's kind of a release, to tell it. It makes you feel better, to tell that, because I didn't really tell nobody for years. I told my son, and he believes in it, but he likes to joke like me a lot. He'll laugh and
Right.
make fun, but he believes it, and so yes, it does help. It does, it gets it off the chest.
I
But
agree.
but yeah, as far as all the counters that I could think of, that was my main one. And I do believe 100% now it was a Sasquatch or Bigfoot. I really do, man.
The
So
way you described it, man, it fits all the
yeah,
all the curriculum.
yeah, it really does. If that would have happened, I think I'd have went for evidence. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I would have done something different. I mean, I say that, I don't know. Being that scared was pretty bad. I mean, it was pretty scary. But yeah, I think I'd have done something different. I don't know why it would be right there because I guess that's another thing I always thought about. Why was it even there? Might just wandering around, but because it wasn't close to the river. The river's probably there's a small river about 2 miles there was water, but might have been chasing game,
Yeah.
It might have been doing that.
You,
But
what I've heard, if you got a water source and a food source,
yeah,
and then cover basically, then
yeah,
they can be there.
yep, they can be there. Definitely, man.
And 2 miles isn't nothing for these things, as fast as
No,
they can move.
no, yeah. But I remember when it was moving, it wasn't moving super fast, but it was moving. I
Yeah.
think it probably knew I was there. It was trying to show its presence,
Yeah.
you know.
You care if I ask you a couple of questions about that
No,
encounter?
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you were talking about it moving. Could you hear individual footsteps or like limbs breaking and stuff when it was happening?
Yep, I heard footsteps. I didn't really hear no footsteps, but I heard crashing. I mean, it was like I said at the time. I thought it was tires going over limbs and breaking
Yeah.
it. But now it was probably footsteps I heard. I mean, it wasn't going slow; it was going about medium speed.
Yeah.
So
And you talked about being kind of frozen stiff, like you didn't feel like you could move. I guess is that kind of what?
yeah, yeah. I
You know, you mentioned infrasound.
I
I guess
think that. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, you're fine. I was gonna say that. I guess there's a pretty good chance when it roared at you,
Yeah.
they, emitted that infrasound frequency, and it could have stunned you for just a minute. That's
Yeah,
kind of what.
I think it did because looking back and at the time, I thought it was something to do with evil. You know what I mean? Not saying
Yeah.
it is, even if it's Bigfoot, but yeah, I was because I remember I've never been this scared, and this is what scared stiff means. It's like I was frozen, and I
Yeah.
remember feeling it all in my guts, and so yeah, I look back now. I really do think that it did hit me with something.
Yeah.
I really
I
did.
mean, I've heard stories like that. Where people get hit with infrasound, and then plus you said you couldn't remember right after it happened, so
No.
that sounds like you got hit with something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the best memory looking back, about a lot of things, but I just barely remember going in the house, and I don't even remember going to bed.
Yeah.
So
But that sounds like you're pretty fortunate, like Joshua says.
yeah,
If you'd have stayed out there any longer, you might have
yeah,
been snatched right off that porch.
yeah. I think it was warning me to get away, and
Yeah.
dang, yeah, I think about that. Man, I couldn't imagine being face to face and wanting to fear and whew, to be that scared and not even see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be in that situation again.
That's the frustrating part about, most of my encounters is like you said, you heard the crashing and stuff. We had
Yeah,
something like that happen as well. We get
yeah,
back in this cove and we start hearing the brush start, sounds like it's exploding.
yeah,
Then you shine the light over there and the brush is not even moving. But the sound is coming from somewhere. And you think you
yeah,
should be able to just look right there and see something, but it's not there.
yeah,
It's kind of frustrating.
yeah. But it was. I mean, I'm kind of glad I didn't see it physically. At the
Yeah.
time. But now I don't know if I went through all that. At least want to see a glimpse of it. So
What I tell people is I would like to have about 100-yard sighting where it's out in the open and I can see it real well,
yeah,
but I could get away if I need to. So
yeah, definitely, man. It's something that, like I said, I've been to a lot of situations. I've had people pass away in front of me, and I've never been scared like that. That's probably the most. Yeah, I know I keep repeating it, but yeah, it was scary.
I can imagine that was scary,
Yeah,
especially being in the middle of the night and dark and you can't see anything, and it only being like 60 feet away. That's not very
yeah,
far for
yeah,
one of those things.
yeah. It was about 60 feet. I always said yards before, but it was about uh maybe it was a little bit farther, probably about 70 or 80 feet. But yeah, it was close, dude. It was definitely close.
That's
Um,
close enough for them to get you before you can even turn your head, probably.
yeah, they're quick. Yeah, they're super quick. But I don't know. I look back on it. It's terrifying. I think about it. The more I think about it, being in that moment, definitely.
But you made it through and you're here now and you can tell the story. I'm glad.
Yep, thank God.
Yeah, thank God.
I mean, I'm glad it happened in a way. Like I said, I've met people like you, Josh, Daniel, other people in the community. And sometimes, things happen at the time that's really uncomfortable and maybe hurt and scary. But through it all, God's got a plan about everything.
Oh yeah, there's a
Yeah,
plan and purpose for everything under heaven.
just
Well, Ashes, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
no, I don't have anything else to talk about. I appreciate you having me on here. And like I said, if you guys like hearing interviews and folklore stories, and I'm new at it, but I enjoy it. Check out the Boom Boom Room. Like I said, you got to type it in at the Boom Boom Room 777. To find it. But I do appreciate you being on here, me being on here, Wyatt. I really
Well, I
do.
appreciate you
Thanks for
coming on. I
having me.
really, really appreciate that, buddy.
Yep, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, man.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it a lot, man. All right, Ashes. Well, if you want to hang out in the studio for just a minute, I'm
Yep.
going to wrap everything up and I'll talk to you in just a moment.
All right.
Thank you, Ashes.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was another great guest on the Boone County Cryptids. Ashes is a really great guy, guys. You should go check out his channel, well, both of his channels. Ashes Antics on YouTube. That's his streaming channel where he plays games, and it's a lot of fun. I've been on there several times. Then go check out the Boom Boom Room. I've checked out the interviews on there. Great job. I really enjoy them. Now, guys, if you've had an encounter and would like to come on the show, you can email us at boonecountycryptids@gmail.com. And let's keep our law enforcement and our first responders and our armed service members, let's keep them on our prayers because they need it. They do a lot of good things for the community and for the country. And I always like to show my respect to them. Guys, if you want to, go check out Mysteries Unknown with Joshua Smith. Check out the Cryptid Podcast with Daniel Hamilton. Go check out Nightmare Hunters with DA, Robbie, Doc, and Steve. Woodwalkers. Guys, there's a lot of them. And like I said, I would be here for a long time talking about all of them. But just know that I enjoy all of them. And guys, just remember, if you've had an encounter, even if you think it's insignificant, just remember every encounter is a piece of the puzzle, and it takes all the pieces to put a puzzle together. So anyway, guys, until next time, thank you for watching Boone County Cryptids.